Well, sorry about the delay, but welcome back one more time to One Hub Racing, the Pinnacle tier. This is the final round of the season, and as you can see, the conditions are absolutely horrible for qualifying, but I've got it on good authority that it's meant to be a bit drier for the race. I am, as always, indecisive, and joining me this week is this bottle of water over here. And at the moment, absolutely nobody else because there's been an issue. So I'm here just to try and guide you through the action one more week to see if it's going to be Sly Guy or Netsky that lifts the Season 19 Drivers' Championship in this tier. At the moment, there's a small advantage, but I will go through the permutations now. So it says that if Netsky, who, retook the championship lead a while ago, and he's managed to keep himself there, so if Netsky finishes in the top 3, then Netsky is the champion. If Netsky finishes 4th, Sly Guy needs to win with the fastest lap to win the championship, otherwise Netsky is your champion. The same for if Netsky finishes 7th or 5th to 7th, then Sly Guy needs to be on the podium, potentially with a win, or can do it with 2nd if Netsky is 6th, or 3rd if Netsky is 7th with the fastest lap. If Netsky finishes 8th, Sly Guy needs to be 3rd, otherwise Netsky is champion. And the same for if Netsky's 9th, then Sly Guy needs to be 4th to win. If Netsky finishes 10th, Sly Guy can still win it with 4th. If Netsky finishes 11th, Sly Guy must finish no lower than 5th position with the fastest lap. And if Netsky finishes 12th, which is the final points paying position, then at that point Sly Guy needs to finish 5th. And if Netsky does not score or fails to finish, Sly Guy needs to be 6th or higher with the fastest lap. So those are the permutations, and I will try to keep everyone up to date with that later on in the race when everything gets a little bit closer. But hopefully we're going to see some amazing racing in the dry, and it's just about who's going to have the early advantage in the race. Of course, mandatory 2-stop. Let's hope it's not decided by that. I'm sure it won't be, but it's still a thing that people need to be wary of. And I will go through the standings as we have them. Netsky, current championship leader, on 137 points. The slight favourite for the championship, I would say, at this point. Sly Guy, 2nd place with 129 points, so that is a gap of 8 points. And then you have Zayn in 3rd, who's been solid pretty much all season. Well, I don't think he's made it. Yes, he has made it today, sorry. He's down in 12th without setting a lap time at the moment, but he is on 1, so let's go and check him out. Who's invalidated, never mind. Nepidius in the McLaren seems to be quick through there. But anyway, Rydal is in 4th in the standings with 75 points. Tom Robo is in 5th with 66, just ahead of the other McLaren, Conzo, who is currently P7 in this session so far, but he's P6 overall with 64 points. 7th is Danestar, 56. Toma, the only Toma, 44 points in 8th. Legend in 9th with 36, and Samba, who's not here tonight unfortunately, with 35 points, just ahead of Pierre Papi on 34 points, and Khalifa. Khalifa's another one that's not made it. And Sly Guy just given up, or has he retired in the pits, or has he crashed? Completely missed that, apologies, but I think he's... Oh no, Sly Guy did hit a wall somewhere, so I'm not sure where, but he will be taking no further part for the final 10 minutes and change of the session. So at the moment it looks like he's the man to be, but I'm pretty sure as people start to set times and the track dries out a little bit, there could be some grip and pace to find. But let's go on board through this tricky section, especially in the wet. It seems even more tricky now. As you can see, the car trying to put the power down, but he had nowhere to put it, so he was just trying to chug along there. But as I can see, no real issues with the TAS tonight. There's no drivers that have forgot to turn it on. Never mind, that's an invalidation for Ryderdal there. But Arnold is, let's hope he has some better luck with his wheel this week. He's had some issues in the past. But he dives into the pit lane, takes a bollard with him. Okay, fair enough. And that's a double stack there to the Ferrari garage. Conzo is out on track comfortably. Anyway, where did I get to with the... I think it was Nepidius in the McLaren I was on board with. Is now in 13th on 24 points. Henry 14th, 23 of course part of ERT. And you have another one who can't be with us tonight is Owen Wyatt down in 15th place with 22 points. He's had a fairly, well, I guess you could call it a fairly frustrating season from his point. He's been in position to do quite well a large majority of the time, but unfortunately just hasn't found the consistency that he might otherwise have had. And you have Arnold in 16th, recovered, he's on a lap, and yeah, he's up in P5, so that's pretty good for him so far. Let's hope that Zane can put a lap in, although he has invalidated that one. Let's find Dane Star, who's the last of the drivers out there to... Oh no, wait. Yeah, he's on a lap, so hopefully he can keep it pointed in the right direction and get a lap time on the board. It is quite important, and Tom Robbo would be after him. And then you have the Mata, Confessor and Rafa rounding out the points on 18, 8 and 5 respectively. And as for the constructors, Ferrari have had an absolutely scintillating season with 9 podiums, so they've had at least one of their drivers on the podium every week. Usually Netsky, given that he is the championship leader, but Roger Dahl's been up there a few times as well. And you have Alfa Romeo next on 195 points. That's a gap of 16, so it's not completely over yet for Ferrari. They could seal the double today, so we will keep updated with that. And Red Bull down in 10th with 30 points. Then you have AlphaTauri in 9th on 48, and then 56 for Haas and Alpine, 61 for Aston Martin in P6. We're on board with Dane Star now, who's got a lap on the board, so let's go and see what Tom Robbo can do in the Alfa Romeo, who are sitting second place, so he could still play a part in the championship. He won't win the drivers, but he could help his team win the constructors. And of course, also hoping for a, well, I'd say a miracle. I think Williams are locked in, possibly locked in for P3 with 114. Then you have McLaren on 82 points and Mercedes in 5th on 67. It's been a bit of a weird way to go through the standings today, but never mind. We've had a lot of issues with the website, so unfortunately I'm not able to bring you much of the media day. When the website was working, though, the rivalries were, of course, Netsky and Sly Guy. I did ask Netsky how he really turned his form around from round 5. Was that something he thought or could see happening, or was he just lucky to capitalise on some less than top form from the former championship leader Sly Guy? And do you think his slump will still affect him in the finale? And on the same token, Sly Guy was asked that he stormed the season very early, but he did have a massive dip in the middle, which sort of opened the door for Netsky there. And he was also asked if it would play on his mind at all while fighting to lift the first place champions trophy, and neither driver responded, as I say. But I think if I was asked question on, say, let's go with Netsky's question first, as Tom Robbo is looking pretty handy on this lap, as he is overall quickest in sector 1. So let's just, I'll go back to that media day in a moment, but let's just stay on board with Tom Robbo as he's fighting the the back end. There you go, you can see it trying to kick out again as he puts the power down, but it is so far so good for him. That very tricky chicane in these conditions now. It's a very good sector 2 as well. It's not purple, but it is the best that he's been through there, so he's still pretty much on for a very good starting grid slot if conditions don't improve later on in the session, and I don't think they will. It's looking like it's probably going to stay like this for the majority of the final 4 minutes and change. And let's see, Tom Robbo goes across the line, puts it P4. That's a very good position, and Ryderdal will be hoping to help Netsky out today. He is in P3 at the moment, ahead of his championship leading teammate, but Netsky is about to start another lap at some point shortly. Words are difficult tonight. I'm so excited for this style of fight. I have literally no idea which way it's going to go, and that makes it all the more impressive that the drivers can deal with this amount of pressure for a title after a week break as well. So that probably makes it doubly worse for some drivers. They've had a whole other week to think about it. I think last week they would have just got on with it, but this week there's a little bit of well, oh, excuse me, sorry about that. I tried to mute myself, I just couldn't reach the switch in time. But there was definitely some nerve jangling thoughts ahead of this one, I would imagine. Legend puts it in pole, so Sly Guy is down to P2 after his brush with the barriers earlier, I can only imagine. 24.47 for Legend. Can Ryderdal do anything to beat that? It's going to be close. No, it's not as close as I thought it might be. Daystar's put the inters on in the garage. Is it going to dramatically improve? Tom Robbo now goes quickest with the 24.2. That's 0.2 quicker than anyone's been before. Let's see what Netsky can do. We're on board with the championship leader and former champion, of course, who's been looking to make it 2, I believe, 2 in a row as well. That would be quite something. But either way, we are going to crown a drivers' champion tonight here in One Hub Racing in the Pinnacle tier. Netsky struggling to stay on the track there with the conditions being as tricky as they are. It's understandable. You can't push for everything you've got. Sly Guy found that out in his turn on the track, and now he's down into P3 with those 2 quicker times, and I'm pretty sure it's slightly dry now, so I think the conditions are slightly improving for the final 2 minutes, which is crucial. Henry the Mercedes has unfortunately already invalidated. Nepidius in the McLaren has also invalidated. Legend hasn't invalidated. He's slightly down through sector through the where are we? Why is that? Yeah, I was going to say sector 2 because I was on board with someone else that said it, and yeah, there's a lot of invalidations going on. That's just the trickiness of the... It's a shame for Arnott, he's invalidated, but he is slightly quicker through sector 2 than he's been before. A string of cars just waiting to go back onto a lap, and let's have a look at Netsky again, where the back end steps out again there. So, but it's not slowing him down. He's set his personal best, sector 2. Sorry, excuse me again. So he's definitely there to be had, but can he just coax that Ferrari around the final couple of corners to pop it into the top 4 perhaps? Can he displace his teammate to give him a slightly better chance at the race? He's gone across the line. He's P8, 25.2, but 25.5, 2.7. Danestar's out on the inters, so let's keep an eye on his sector times. He's stormed sector 1 there. That's a very quick personal best for him at this stage, so I'm definitely intrigued by how quick Danestar can get up there, and everyone else is out on the wets apart from Zane, who's also on the intermediate, so this could be a very strange looking grid thanks to this bold strategy decision. Of course, it doesn't affect the race at this point, but it does affect the grid, which could, of course, have the contenders have a lot of work to do in the driver. Let's have a look at Daystar as he goes across the line, puts it provisionally quickest, and that's going to take some beating. Let's have a look at Zane, the next guy on the intermediates, who's about halfway around the lap. So we'll come back to him shortly if anyone's a little bit closer to finishing off a lap. The matter, there we go. Let's see what he can do. He doesn't improve. No, he doesn't. Sessions over him. Konzo is through there. Arnold's not going to improve either. Ryder Dahl, is he going to improve? I don't know. I don't have any telemetry on the track there. I don't know what he's doing, so let's go back. Oh dear, I just saw Henry in the background there. He's stacked it at the final set. I don't know if it, but Zane takes pole position. That's a great performance there. The intermediate tyre is clearly the most favoured tyre at the end of the session, and it's a very good job from Daystar and Zane to get the most out of it. But that is the session over, and wow, this is going to be a stormer of a race. Sly Guy will start 5th, and championship leader Netsky can only start P10. So that is definitely one for the books, as you have Zane in pole position, and of course points for the top 12 in this league, and if nobody retires, points for everybody. But well, Zane and Dane have exactly the same time there apparently, and then you have Tom Robbo 25 thousandths behind, and 64 for Legend in P4. So that is definitely something's happened there. And you have Sly Guy 5th, as I say, Ryder Dahl, Arnott, Konzo, Matanetsky, Henry and Apitius rounds out the grid. So it's free tyre choice for everyone. I'm pretty sure they'll start on medium tyres, but I think someone outside the top 10 may start on the softs and hope there's an early incident to take advantage of. But at the moment, I don't know what they're going to do, but it's very much drier in the race than it was in qualifying anyhow. But at this moment of proceedings, for one final time between sessions, I would like to take this moment to thank our magnificent sponsors and partners here at One Hub Racing. Our sponsors are Next Level Racing, who sponsor the league by providing a Next Level Racing direct drive stand to the Driver of the Season, which is a new award here. And 3M Sim Racing sponsor the league by providing a pair of their sim racing gloves to drive with the most combined poles or fastest, I think it's poles and fastest laps. And our partners are Vespertine, who support our championship prizes, and ERT partner, the ERT Go and Get Stuff Award, which is for all drivers are eligible for this. And at the end of the season, if you answer all your media obligations, attend all races, and finish outside the top 3 of the drivers' championship of your tier, then you will be eligible for this, and there will be a wheel spun to pick the winner at the end of the season. So let's see if any of these guys are still in there. And of course, with the recent forum issues, everyone will be considered eligible for this week, as it's not the driver's fault that they can't access the website. So unfortunately that has happened there, but a lot can happen in the next 45 minutes or so. But we are about to set off on a formation lap, and let's have a look at the tyres chosen by all drivers, and that surprises me a little bit. Sly Guy wants to get ahead. Sly Guy wants the championship, so he's gone for the soft tyres. Netsky's taken a more conservative approach, and he is quick at the end on those softs. Presumably Nepirius in P12 goes for softs as well, but everybody else on medium. So Konzo, Sly Guy and Nepirius soft red wall tyres, and everybody else at yellow wall medium tyres. And that is to be expected. Mandatory 2-stop, of course, but that should mean that the majority of the grid will be quicker at the end on the softs, and Sly Guy will have to do some defending to try and win this championship, which he was dominating in the early round. So he had a bit of a dip in form in the mid-season, and that's to blame for him not being in control of his own destiny tonight. Which, stay tuned here, because we have a fantastic Grand Prix in the offing for these drivers. Zane from pole, Dainstar second, Tom Robbo third, Legend in fourth, Sly Guy in fifth. Again, looking to make the early jump, and then you have Rydal in sixth, who could also play a part in the constructors as well. So there's a lot to be decided tonight, and it's exciting to find out who's going to win which one. So at the moment, Ferrari are in pole position of the constructors, although their nearest challengers actually performed slightly better in qualifying. There we go. You have Sly Guy and Tom Robbo in third and fifth, and the lead Ferrari is only P6. And then you have Arnold Konzo, the Matanetsky P10. So definitely watch out for him later on in the race. He's going to play it cool. He's going to be very collected and very, very determined. But very shortly we will be going here for the final time this season, in season 19. The lights are about to come on. And the lights are on. And for the final time in season 19, the lights are off, and away we go here in the Pinnacle tier for one last round tonight. And it's a great start from Dainstar. Zane slips back, and Tom Robbo's got the jump into P2 as well, but Sly Guy on the quicker tyres is looking to boss that very early performance, and he's gonna be through to P2 very early on here. Tom Robbo doesn't put up a fight, being teammates, he's led him through there on the quicker tyre, and also have the team game in mind there. But Dainstar leads after a great start there. Sly Guy has a stormer of a start and is in P2, and Netsky's up into P7, so he's had a great start as well. So Netsky finishing P7, does that do anything? Netsky finishing P7, Sly Guy needs third place or better with the fastest lap. Okay, so they are, well, Sly Guy's doing everything he needs to do. If Netsky can find a couple more positions, I'm sure he will later on in the race. He might not get past Konzo at this point with that tyre advantage that Konzo has, but it's definitely worth considering that there's still a long way to go, of course. But Sly Guy now leads. He's gotten past Dainstar when I was checking out the battle for, well, the other battle, but Sly Guy is absolutely flying right now, and he needs to be as well. He needs to get on with this. He's got a big job to do. And so far, so good. We are only on lap 2 though, so there's a long way to go still. Now, can Tom Robbo do anything to sort of help out the constructors? Let's just do some very quick mathematics. He's 16 points, so that's definitely, I think, at this stage could be enough. But Tom Robbo goes slightly off track there. Dainstar. There's no sign of rain. My eyes are playing tricks on me. I thought it was raining for a second, but it's not. It's just the shadows bouncing off that green Aston Martin in a peculiar way, which made me think that. But Legends in 4th place now. The Haas have had a largely low-key season, but that is a fantastic start to this race from Legend, the man in P9 of the Drivers' Championship. He could make a few positions here today with a great result, but Sly Guy further asserting his dominance already. Dainstar is in trouble. He's going to be overtaken by Tom Robbo, but there's more success for these two than there was when George Russell tried to pass Valtteri Bottas on the drying track into that corner. But no such issues in the dry there. So Tom Robbo up to P2, Alfa Romeo 1 and 2, and that couldn't go better for now. Netsky's just content to sit in 7th for now. His race will come to him later on, and it's going to be quite the finish here in the Pinnacle tier. And I wouldn't like to bet either way right now. Netsky is looking okay, but Sly Guy is looking slightly better, and Netsky has a little bit of a moment there, and he's not the first, and he probably won't be the last, as he saw someone in the background behind him have exactly the same moment. So there's definitely high stakes out there, and the Piteous is also off the track now, and can the matter get through? The Piteous is a little bit harsh to give him a penalty for that. He lost more time, if anything, but never mind. Hopefully decisions like that won't play much of a part in the overall Drivers' Championship come the end of the race. But look at this, Danestar behind Tom Robbo, and then you have Legend behind him. Let's go on board with Legend actually, as he gets a good look on Danestar defending from Tom Robbo. That's fantastic stuff there. Of course, he has to be mindful of Zane as well. If he puts one wheel on the grass or has a slight lock-up, which you saw Netsky do a moment ago, then he could always be under more pressure. Apologies if you can hear the fireworks. I don't know why they're going off now. It's but hopefully it's not disturbing your viewing pleasure too much, and hopefully you are enjoying this race as much as I am to bring you all the action here. In slightly unusual circumstances. I think the week break's got to some technical issues. My commentary partner was meant to join me, but something happened to his. Well, let's just say his console booted in safe mode, so that's never ideal. So he's trying to attend to that, but hopefully he can be able to join me by the end of this race. But if not, it's all good. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself anyway. And Legend is going for a move now on Tom Robbo, but he won't make it easy, of course. Which side is he going to go down? And there you go. Danestar's also lost a position as well. Well, Tom Robbo was defended from Legend. Danestar has lost a position to Tom Robbo, so that is quite a move there. Netsky's not making any progress at all, but the guy in front of him is on soft tyres and he can't get through the field either. So I think if roles were reversed, Netsky would be in pretty much the same position. So he's not gonna panic at this stage. It is only lap 5 of 32, but those laps will fly by pretty quickly here. It is a fairly short lap, not the shortest on the calendar. That would be Austria at about 1 minute and 5 seconds per lap, and maybe a little bit less than that if in this tier anyway. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of places where you can make a mistake. Like if you get these chicanes slightly wrong, you cut them too much, you get a 3-second time penalty, or you find the wall. But I just wonder how long these soft tyres are going to go, because that is going to be key to not Ryder Netsky's later push in the race. How far these drivers take these soft tyres now. Of course, they are brand new, being wet tyres in qualifying. They have had no wear on them whatsoever, which is quite unusual. Usually they would have a couple of laps on them, but so I'd say that could probably be extended, maybe lap 8. Maybe if you're console, you could try and extend it a little bit, but just look for Slogeye to pit as soon as he possibly can to get onto the better race trim here on the medium tyres, which will definitely help him out. But of course, soft tyres would be very powerful for Netsky at the end of this race, and that is going to be a battle which I'm very much looking forward to today. It is either going to be Sly Guy or Netsky that lift the championship here. But thank you for everyone that's in the chat right now. Hope you're enjoying this fantastic season finale as much as I am. Yellow flag sector 1 and 2. There's don't really know what's going on there. The virtual safety car, so everyone is. Oh, that's perfectly timed for Sly Guy. He's going to pit now. He probably would have gone on if the virtual safety car wasn't called, but that could well help him actually with the field doing reduced speed. He's going to come out in just behind Netsky, is he? No, he's going to come out quite a long way behind, as Konzo, Rydal and Arnold also pit as well. The Piteous looks like he may have had an incident. He's got no front wing, so I think he's just lost it on his own. He's already broken one front wing, he's now broken another one, so that's not great. But of course, he will get to do his 2 mandatory stops by the end of this virtual safety car, if he can just coax it round this final corner to get into the pit lane, which is one of the most unique it's one of the most unique pit lanes on the calendar. But Nvidius is now in the pit, and there's no action to call right now, as it's still virtual safety car conditions, and now it is ended, so everyone will put the hammer down and get on with their jobs. Netsky is now in P5, which could be better news for him. Yes, because Sly Guy needs to win the race, with Netsky finishing 5th, and with that pit stop, Sly Guy is only in P8, but a lot can still change, and let's hope that there's still positions to gain by lap 32 of 32. We are, of course, on lap 7, so there's more than half the race still to go. And Tom Robbo goes on for another lap, but he's going to be under pressure from Legend, so let's see. Legend will probably get swept back past the inside. There we go, into the lead of this race. Dane Star had a perfectly good view of that, and he'd be wondering, will Netsky try something similar the next time around, or will Netsky be able to do something before turn 1 of lap 9? Maybe if... oh no, Netsky's had a little bit of a wobble behind. That could be the dirty air playing into his hands there, but it's definitely difficult to follow that closely. But Zane's giving it a good job on the 7-lap old medium tyres. But let's just see. Everyone is... there's no soft runners out there at the moment. Those that started on the softs came in for mediums, and some medium runners took a time, tactical time, to pit under the virtual safety car. So could they benefit from that? Dane Star is definitely all over the road there with a little bit of... yeah, I think he's definitely just had a little bit of understeer as he came out of the chicane, but no harm done. He didn't get a... and the Pidius is on... he's just being lapped, so getting very nicely and sportingly out of the way. So thank you, the Pidius, for that. It's great to see. But Tom Robbo takes the lead of this race again from Legend, and Dane Star is still in P3, but Netsky is harassing him, and he's going to try everything he can and call upon end of his very good experience to see if he can force a way through Dane Star and see if he can get after the Legend and perhaps Tom Robbo as well, not just for constructors but for his own personal drivers' championship as well. Lap 9 here, and like I say, it flies back really, it flies past really quickly, and words are difficult. Let me put these teeth back in, these are broken. And the Pidius there with a 3-second. Let me just check warnings for some of the other drivers. Tom Robbo doesn't have any, Dane Star has 2, Netsky doesn't have any, so yeah, he's doing quite well. But Henry has 6 seconds of penalties and 1 warning away from getting another one, so he's definitely on the ragged edges, is Henry there. But so far so good for Netsky in P4. Looks like he's going to get the move done on Dane Star, who does have DRS as well. I think he's just about going to try it. There's just about enough room for both of them there, and Netsky gets his way back past into P3, and now hopefully he can start to get after the race lead and try and bridge that gap back to Sly Guy, who's still down in P8, but he is on fresher tyres. So by the end of this stint, this could well be between Netsky battling wheel to wheel on track with Sly Guy for the championship. And Zane there gets another warning, so he's up to 2, so he has to be careful not to get many more for the rest of the race. But the Pidius is having an awful time. He's got 12 warnings already, so that's not great for him. But he has been into the pits a couple of times. He's broken a couple of front wings, so he's not having the most memorable day. Well, not for the right reasons anyway. But Dane Star is going to try and get back after Netsky, but Netsky seems to have a fantastic exit from the final corner, so I don't think Dane Star is going to be anywhere near close enough to repass for P3 again, but Tom Robbo does for the lead again on Legend, and this is giving Netsky all the confidence in the world. If he could just stick with these two as they are battling, they could well take him with him, and he is slightly extending the gap back to Dainstar there in P4. So Right It All is quickest in the Ferrari. We're looking at another Ferrari who is currently in the best position for the championship in P3, but of course there's still a very long way to go. But if Netsky does finish P3, he is champion regardless of what Sly Guy does, so he's doing everything he needs to do at this stage of the race. But of course they are out of sync with pit stops at the moment. But is Dainstar going to be under pressure from Zane? I don't think so. I think he's got back a little bit closer to Netsky now, as those medium tyres are starting to become a little bit stressed under these conditions. So I wouldn't be surprised to see one of them try the undercut very shortly to see if he can get a little bit of better running. Is anyone going to stick? Right, there you go. Netsky does try the undercut. Dainstar stays out. He will take the lead of this race. Zane through to P2. The Matter in P3. That's a great performance for him, who's one of the men of the season at the moment with form. He's only done a handful of races, but he's put himself in a great position in the driver's standings. If I can read, I can't find him, but he's definitely had quite a memorable performance for the. But yeah, Henry in P4 probably won't get to contest that for very long with 6 seconds of track limit infringement. The Sly Guy's definitely not made his course very easy with the 3 seconds there, so that is slight advantage to Netsky. Even though he's down in P10, they will be close together by the end of this race. I can probably get well, I won't say guarantee, but I can feel it coming now. Dainstar, Zane and Matter, which one of these are going to blink next and pit for fresh medium tyres? Or are they going to go medium, soft, medium? I don't know. It's fascinating to try and find out what is going to happen here. And is any of them going to blink? Right, I think, yeah, Zane as... Oh, Matter made a late decision, as does Henry. Sly Guy won't need to pit, so he will be... Presumably, he will be P2 very shortly, but Zane is making these tyres last. But what about Netsky? Where's he going to be after these guys come out? Are they going to come out ahead of him? I think they are. They get going in, but it is very quick speeds down here. I think they are just going to get ahead. So Netsky will stay down in P10, but there is a 3-car battle just ahead of him. So we'll be hoping that they hold each other up, and that could get him back up. And he's in P7, so it's not as bad as I thought it might be for Netsky. Actually, he's still in a pretty good position, and when all said and done, he's going to have to give it absolutely everything he's got left in the tank. Hopefully he didn't think about this moment too much over the week break between rounds 9 and 10, but I'm sure he will have thought about it, as will Sly Guy. It's probably only natural to think about what happens if this happens. Can I be prepared for this? Will I pit under any safety cars? Will I pit under virtual safety cars? Turns out that some of them will pit under a virtual safety car, and I can't say I blame them, but Netsky's all over the back of Konzo now. Surely it's only a matter of time before he gets past on those fresher 5-lap fresher medium tyres. And Konzo, I was going to say I don't think he's going to fight this too hard, but that's not quite an overtaking position. But Netsky's just going to wait for the DRS of Konzo and take him down into turn 1 as Tom Robbo sets the quickest lap of the race with the 16.0, and Netsky makes that look very easy with the aid of DRS at the back. Yellow flag, sector 1 and 2. Konzo drops another position. Dainstar through as well. Is Stupidus the wrong way again? Yes, Stupidus has had another incident. He's having an absolute nightmare tonight, but he's still out there, and hopefully he continues to trundle himself around, because you never know. There could be at least a point in it for you today. But Zane still in control of this race at the moment, leading 6 seconds back to Sly Guy, who is in a world of his own there with Right It All, another 13 seconds behind him. But Henry gets another one, sector 2. That's It could be Nepitius again, just getting out the way of everyone as he's being lapped. But Right at all Legend and Tom Robbo are in a bit of a scrap here. And yeah, I think that's the best scrap to look at the moment. You have Sly Guy just waiting for Zane to make his first pit stop of the race. Yeah, his first pit stop. He's the only one yet to be in the pit lane. So Sly Guy is in net P1 at the moment, but no one has. The only person that's made 2 stops is Nepitius, but he's about a lap down and has 15 seconds of penalty, so he's got to be careful. And he's retired, actually. As I say that, he's manually done that in the pits. So Nepitius says goodbye to his season. It's not gone exactly to plan, but he's had some good moments as well. Oh, he hasn't had a podium. I thought he did have a podium. I think he was in contention for a podium one week, but he just couldn't quite finish it off. But anyway, we're down to 11 runners. So, as I said, at qualifying, if you finish, there's going to be points in it for you. But now, you're going to take home a minimum of 2 points if you do finish. But right at all, in P5 there, is probably just seeing what he can do. Because he can't, I mean, he could jump ahead of Zane for 3rd place in the standing, so that's definitely something to keep an eye on as well. They are close together, but the battle everyone really wants to see, I think, is Sly Guy versus Netsky for the final few laps to see which one of them is going to be the champion. Legend is quickest out there on track, but Netsky looks as though he's going to try and get past Danestar again, but Danestar's just about got to the braking zone in time. Another 10 metres of track, perhaps you would see Netsky in P6, but he's not going to give this up. Definitely not. He's just, I think he's definitely playing it smart and just waiting for the opportunity. He's not trying to force anything at this stage. It's far too early. We are only 50% into this race, which means there is, of course, 50% of this race still to go. Because that's how maths works, sometimes. Just listen to the commitment through there. Just listen. And look, it is a fantastic sight and sound to see and hear. But you have Netsky in P7, as you can see there. Which Sly Guy needs to be 3rd with the fastest lap to win the championship. If he's 3rd but no fastest lap, then Netsky will still win. So Sly Guy needs to hope that he can have a window to put the softs back on later on in the race to try and get that fastest lap, if indeed Netsky is down in P7. But he's now in P6, so that makes it even harder. But I think this is going to be, oof, there we go. Right at all, doesn't hold up his teammate. There you go, that's what team orders are for. And executed perfectly there. So Right at all is going to back up his teammate, and he'd be hoping the car behind Right at all was Sly Guy, so we could hold him up a little bit. But hope Valtti's watching. That's how you're meant to play with your rivals, and just hold them up. But no, Sly Guy does have a penalty, of course. I don't think at this stage it's going to cost him too much, but it's definitely going to be playing on his mind, perhaps, as he is attacking every apex he can in the only way that he knows how. And fortunately, it doesn't cost him anything at the moment. There's only 3 warnings, so he's got leeway before he gets another one. But Henry doesn't have much leeway at all. He's got 12 seconds of penalties, so that's not great for him. Struggling. And the only other person with penalties is Ryder Dahl, Danestar, and Konzo. Of course, he did have Nepitius, but he's long since retired, and unfortunately just wasn't his day today. But yeah, I think the fastest lap of the race does belong to Danestar at this moment. So let's hope that You get to see some fireworks later on, but Legend is in P2 comfortably, about 2 seconds ahead of Tom Robbo. Sly Guy is in a world of his own at the moment, no one anywhere near him, but they're not on the same pit stop strategy. But Netsky is in P5, who has fresher tyres, so this is going to be a grandstand finish. I can feel it in the waters today. Netsky will go another 7-8 laps perhaps, then put the softs on at the end to try and get fastest lap, to try and make it that little bit harder for Sly Guy to win the championship today. Of course, one of them will, they both can't. I mean, they can't. There's going to be a winner is what I'm trying to say there. One of them will win, one of them probably won't. I don't think they can draw, and even if they do draw, I'm pretty sure there's a tiebreaker we could use, but I'm not really sure what that is. I don't think it's possible though. But anyway, that's just me being silly, just remembering a famous quote from Senna in the 80s. Is it possible to tie? No, there has to be a winner. And I'm sure you know the rest. From there was Senna and Prost before they had that big fight on track. Anyhow, it would be great if we could see who's... Oh, Zane is actually quickest man out there through sector 2 and 3. But Legend has the fastest lap of the race at this stage with a 1:15.9, which is a tenth quicker than anyone else has been. That's Tom Robbo with a 16.0 cogs behind him. So it's definitely still pace out there for everyone to find if you can extract your tyres the way you want to. I don't see any issues with your tyre wear today. I think you're going to be able to push them pretty aggressively, especially in the final 10 laps or so with the fresh softs. I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to do that because you're on 7 laps now. Ponzo's just put some fresh softs on. Can he get to the end? I think he might be able to. It's going to be close to him, but I think if you have Legend Tom Robbo do another couple of laps out there, I'm sure that you can definitely do the required laps on a fresh set of softs for the final stint. But Sly Guy doesn't want to take any chances. He's going to eke out the mediums for another few laps, and then he can definitely make the end on the soft tyres. Netsky is also going to do the same. He has 5 laps advantage over Sly Guy, and I'm pretty sure he may try... I don't know, it's going to be difficult. He's pushing, as you can see, he's on 3% of his battery left, and he regenerates that as he brakes, but he's definitely charging hard out there, trying to do everything he can to get past Danestar, who pits. So he's going to get past him into P4. So that was nice and easy for him. But still, Sly Guy is doing everything he needs apart from the fastest lap, because if Netsky finishes 4th, Sly Guy needs the fastest lap and the win to take the title, otherwise Netsky does. But there's still a lot of racing still to go, and it's going to be absolutely fascinating to see how far Sly Guy goes with the tyres, what Netsky does in response. At the moment, Netsky is the closest to anybody on track, but there's a massive fight behind him right at all. Zane and Henry, as you saw from on board with the other driver I was on board with. I think it was the Matter. Yes, it was. I think. Yeah. Yes, it was. The Matter was behind Netsky there. It's about half a second, give or take a couple of tenths, depending on where they are in the corner. Zane gets a 3-second time penalty. That won't cost him too much at this stage, but it could cost him 3rd place in the driver standings. But we'll really know that when everyone has crossed the line. But Netsky's doing everything he needs to do right now. The Matter's sticking with him, trying to spur him on. But Netsky's up into P2 with some pit stops there for Legend. So I'm pretty sure Sly Guy could pit the next time around and go to the end on soft tyres. But the question is, how useful will they be when he gets there? And I'm sure Netsky's logging all this information. He's got 16 seconds, so if Sly Guy was to pit now, Netsky would assume the race lead, but Netsky would have to then pit himself in a few laps time just to see what he can do. He will be on the start of the final stint, so it's coming down to it. Sly Guy versus Netsky. And of course, Netsky finishing second is enough for Netsky to be the champion of the Pinnacle tier this season 19. But of course, there is still 11 laps still to go, so anything can happen in the world of one-hub racing, and I'm pretty sure it usually does. As Henry gets another penalty, that's not great for him. Luckily, he's not in a championship fight, because the losing on penalties would be a little bit galling, but never mind. The matter is hurrying the... Okay, they're both into the pits at the same time there, so Sly Guy... Wow, that's a brave call for Netsky. That could win him a championship outright there. That is a champion's call. Sly Guy is still out there on the medium tyres that are getting older and older. And Netsky will be on the fresh, softer rubber for the final stint of this race. So this is pretty much everything you may have imagined at the top of the broadcast, which I am... Again, apologies for that. So there was a technical issue that none of us could do anything about. So yeah, apologies. But hopefully you're still here enjoying the final race of the One Hub Racing Season 19 season. That's a lot of words. But hopefully... Yeah, Netsky's out in P6, so that's very comfortable. And I'm pretty sure he will... He's got the joint best rubber. Zane is... just wondered if anyone... Like... If you finish 11th, you're going to get an extra point. So you're going to get 3 points for finishing 11th today, because you'll automatically get the fastest lap point for outside the top 10, providing, of course, you finish. And Zane is sped in the pit lane. That's not great. He's definitely pushing to try and maintain his third place in the driver's standings, but unfortunately with a penalty like that he could well lose out to Ryderdal, who is now in P8, and LP Zane is in P3 at the moment, but penalties could see him fall heavily down the order. But can Ryderdal get him? And Ryderdal does pass LP Zane, so that is for P3 of the driver's standings, so that is crucial. But the constructors is still to be decided, as does the drivers, and that is why we're here. Let's find out what the matter's up to, as he's just behind Netsky still. So Netsky's comfortable in P5, but he can't afford to take anything granted, although Ryderdal is right behind the matter now, so that could definitely be a little bit of an insurance policy for the Ferrari drivers, who do have that 16-point lead in the constructors, I think it was. Yes, it was 16, so even if Alfa Romeo go to score a 1-2, I don't think that's going to be enough, with Ferraris being where they are, with a very quick maths. 37 plays 16, so it's going to be close come the end of it. But let's see what Sly Guy does. He's in the pit lane, just made a stop, and he's out in the lead still, is he? He's still in the lead after making that stop. That is quite an incredible stint there for Sly Guy, but Netsky has just made it a little bit more difficult by taking the fastest lap of the race. So let's just have a quick reminder. Netsky P5. Sly Guy needs to win the race. Oh, I don't know if he needs the fastest lap though. Let's have a look. But the fastest lap is going to be, everyone has done 2 stops, so that's great. Sly Guy has gained quite a few positions, but Netsky's gained the most today, so that could well be a nomination for driver of the day. Very worthy there. But let's, fastest lap is 15.4 for Netsky, as we just saw. The next best lap would be Ryderdal, his teammate, so that's keeping it in the Ferrari family, I suppose. But I'm very intrigued to see what happens for the final few laps, because this is on the knife edge. Sly Guy could be champion Neski could be champion. Neski would love to finish a little bit higher than he is right now. He won't be looking for any favours, of course. I think he wants to win it fairly and squarely, but he is pushing like mad over Dane Star in front of him, who's definitely going to be under pressure in a couple of laps' time. And Henry's retired in the pit lane. He's had about enough of getting track limit infringements, which means, unfortunately, there'll be no... Oh, Neski's pushing it so hard. He's managed to catch that one, but don't know if he's going to get away with any more moments like that. But Neski is definitely pushing now. You can see that. But Legend is in P2. Can he contribute anything? You have Sly Guy with penalties of 3 seconds. So at the moment it doesn't really affect him. I think Sly Guy is looking good to do something very special today. But at the moment it's not all that simple. There's definitely... some points still to gain here for Neski. Sly Guy takes the fastest lap back, so that silence you can hear is Neski thinking, oh no. Now he's really going to get after Dane Star. He's not quite close enough to get DRS assistance into turn 1, but he's definitely going to be trying to keep up this pace. He's got the fresher tyres out of him and Dane Star, but if he can get himself onto the podium. And now he's got Rydal behind him, as well as Zane loses a couple of positions actually. So that's Ferrari doing Ferrari things. But at the moment Neski's not doing enough to be crowned the champion. I won't say much because things can definitely change and very often do in races like this, but there is a handful of laps left to go. So Neski needs to get into 4th place, and that fastest lap would still secure Sly Guy the championship, but Neski is definitely looking for more than 4th place today. Will he be able to get it? I mean, he could see 3rd place, so it's not like it's impossible for him. Dane Star's just got a penalty, so that could help Neski's cause. It's got to be a very, very tight finish today. And he can see the podium. If Neski can get on the podium, nothing Sly Guy does will be good enough. Neski, all he needs to do is finish 3rd to be champion, regardless of anything that happens. But he just doesn't quite have enough space to get back past Dane Star into turn 1 on this occasion. But he's got quite a good exit, so he's going to be pressurising Dane Star for the next... for the rest of the lap. And Dane Star's actually had a little bit of a moment and he's gone off the track, but he's still ahead of Neski. But Neski must be feeling very confident in his abilities right now. He can push where he needs to, and he can get after Dane Star and definitely get past him at the earliest opportunity he can. He's running out of laps though, so he's going to have to do it into turn 1 on lap 29, I think, to have any chance of getting that podium. But if anyone could do it on the last lap, it would be Neski getting 2 positions. Tom Robo may well be having something to do with this, of course, being the teammate of Sly Guy. It's not... Oh, and I think Dane Star just thought, you know what, you can have your position. You're fighting for a title, I'm not. Go and get it, son. And I think you'll find he's just about to try and do exactly that. Neski is definitely giving it everything and more that he has. Tom Robo in 3rd place will definitely not make this easy, but what you're looking at there, 3rd place is all Neski needs to do. Sly Guy is doing everything he needs to do, but as I say, if Neski finishes on the podium, even a win for Sly Guy is not good enough today. But there's a few laps left. There's yellow in sector 1. I'm not really sure what that was for. I didn't see anything. I think there may have just been an overtake in the console and honoured perhaps, but this is quite something, isn't it? Everybody watching this on a Friday night live here on the One Hub Racing YouTube channel, or on down later, because this is going to be down in the history books as... Anyway, let's have a look at see. Neski's not quite doing enough at the moment. I don't think he's got quite enough pace on Tom Robbo at the moment, but he is gaining ever so slightly each lap. So you have to stick with this. There's other battles on track, but they're insignificant in as much as they're not for the Drivers' Championship. The matter is being caught by Ryderdal, and that could definitely help Netsky out a little bit, give him the reassurance that he's got his teammate behind him. The matter will not make it easy, of course, and why should he? He's still there on quite merit, so he's allowed to fight for position. But Netsky and Tom Robbo are going to be the drivers I think I'm going to focus on for the final few laps, because this is for all the marbles here. And you can see how hard Netsky is pushing there. He really wants this, as you would expect. But I don't know if he's going to get it done. He's giving it everything he has. But Sly Guy has just the slenderest advantage at the moment. But any mistakes from his teammate Tom Robbo there, as you see in P3, any mistakes, any time penalties will certainly put everyone on edge. And I can tell you that Tom Robbo is one warning away from getting a 3-second penalty, but at the same token, so is Netsky. So there's high stakes pressure there. Danestar gets another penalty. That's not an issue. That's not going to change much. 2 laps to go here. Netsky chasing down Tom Robbo. Can he do it? He is within the penalty window, so he can get a little bit closer and force Tom Robbo into a mistake. Perhaps he can get that penalty, which would secure him the podium position that he needs to win the Drivers' Championship. But trying to do that, saying that and actually trying to do that are two completely different things. Netsky's no slouch, but neither is Tom Robbo. This is going to be quite the finish, and it looks as though we're going down to the final corner to find out who's going to be the Pinnacle champion. Sly Guy has a penalty, but that doesn't really matter. He's so far ahead, he can get another one. It doesn't make a difference. Now, it's all about Netsky. Can he find a little something over the last lap and a half to wrestle the championship away from Sly Guy? In the very early stage of the season, looks like Sly Guy was cantering towards the title, and he made a few mistakes. Had a couple of non-finishes, and Netsky really turned the form on to lead coming in to the final round. But we have about a lap to go. The leader is on the final lap, as Netsky has also crossed the line to start his final lap of the season, and he's just not quite close enough to Tom Robbo at the moment. But Tom Robbo could still make a small adjustment on the brakes by accident. He could run off track, he could go deep, he could outbrake himself, he could do any number of things to gift the title to Netsky. He wouldn't want to do that, but I've seen it happen before. But I think unless something monumental happens, I think you know who's about to win the Drivers' Championship, and it's a driver that has red on their car. That's all I can be confident telling you. We have to check the fastest lap, if I can remember which. There we go. It is Sly Guy's. So Netsky is in P4. He can finish there, but Sly Guy needs to win with the fastest lap, and that is exactly what he's doing. Sly Guy wins the race, but can he hold on to become the champion? We will find out in a matter of moments. It looks as though he will. Tom Robbo is about to cross the line. Yes, Netsky is doing everything he can, but unfortunately today is not the day, as Sly Guy wins not only the race, but Sly Guy is also the Pinnacle tier champion. It's been an awesome season, but Sly Guy just wins out in the end. The fastest lap was enough. Unless someone takes it off him in the final stage, I don't think they will. No, not crossing the line at this speed. Is he out of fuel there? Is Ryderdal going to take the fastest lap? Yes, Ryderdal stole it. I think that is Netsky the champion with that. Netsky fourth. Sly Guy needed fastest lap. Ryderdal stole it at the end, so that is Netsky as the Drivers' Champion. Completely forgot that Ryderdal was on fresh softs. I do apologise, but that is Netsky has won the championship again, and that is quite the sensational ending to the evening and the season. I'm not sure you can write that, but that is quite a show. Netsky gets driver of the day. I think he's yeah. Samba in the chat. I don't know if he's happy or pleased. I don't know, but it's quite an ending, isn't it? Thanks everyone for. I will go through the provisional standings. I didn't see many collisions today, so I don't think there'll be many stewards. But if they're equal on points, I don't know who wins. They can't both win, can they? It's going to be mental arithmetic at the. It said on the thing though that if Netsky finishes 4th, Sly Guy needs to win the race with the fastest lap to win the championship. Otherwise, Netsky wins. So they must be doing it on countback. So if that's true, oh man, one of them has won the title. I can tell you that much, but I'm not really sure if at this point I can commit to anything. But anyway, you have Sly Guy wins the race provisionally. Legend in P2, that's a great result for him as well. Tom Robbo in P3, Netsky 4th, Matta 5th, Zane 6th, Arnott 7th, Konzo 8th, Ryderdal in 9th, stole the fastest lap at the end there, and by 10,000ths of a second as well, so it was very close. Dainstar P10, and Henry Napidius retired earlier on. But there's going to be a lot of head scratching and abacusses being clicked. I'm sure you can hear them in the background, but that is all the action we have for you on the track this season, in not just the Pinnacle tier, but in the whole of One Hub Racing. We will get to you to keep an eye on the social medias to find out who exactly wins the title. The permutation said it needs to be Netsky will win for his 4th, and so it's close. That's all I can tell you. It is so close. I'm not even sure how they're gonna fix this on countback, but just keep an eye on the socials, and when we have news of the champion, we will bring it to you as soon as we can. But I think I'm going to. Well, I think you're going to have to just assume you know where I'm going with my driver of the day votes here. I mean, you have some stellar drives as always, but I think you're going to have to go with the two championship protagonists for much of the season, Netsky and Sly Guy. I think maybe my driver of the day, but I think I'll start with Netsky. And the question I'd like to ask him right now is, how are you feeling right now? Do you think you've done enough to win? And the question I'd like to ask Sly Guy is, of course, you've been up there for much of the season, but when Ryderdal stole fastest lap off you at the end by 10,000, do you think that is your championship over, or do you think you can still lay a rightful claim to that? It's going to be okay. So there's my questions. It's going to be very tricky to work this out. Again, it's you can't see anything like this quite so often, but in the Pinnacle tier of One Hub Racing, anything can happen, and as you saw tonight, it most certainly has. But I think that there's definitely going to be a lot of head scratching, and it's been a pleasure to call the Pinnacle tier to all of you this season. Thank you everyone that's ever stopped by in the streams for a moment, or watched all the streams as they happen. It's appreciated, and give us a like on YouTube and the socials, and subscribe if you can. And yeah, I would usually say at this point, if you fancy having a go, sign up, but sign-ups aren't open for a while yet, so don't do that. You'll be waiting a while, but I'm sure when sign-ups are released, if you fancy having a go at One Hub, then definitely feel free to do so. But I think I will take this time to thank our sponsors for one final time before I sign off the stream. So to the wonderful sponsors and partners here, thank you to Next Level Racing, who sponsor the league by providing a Next Level Racing direct drive stand to the driver of the season, which is a new award here at One Hub Racing. And of course, never forget the 3M Sim Racing, who sponsor the league by providing a pair of their sim racing gloves to the driver with the most combined poles and fastest laps. So that's quite a prize as well there. And to the partners, Vespertine, who support our championship prizes, and of course ERT. We've had them in the chat, we've had them in the race, but they partner the ERT Go and Get Stuff award, which is for all drivers are eligible to do that if they attend all races and complete all their media interviews and obligations that they're required to do so, and providing they finish outside the top 3 of their tiers drivers championship, then they will definitely be eligible to win the Go and Get Stuff award, which will be decided by the spin of a wheel from the magnificent head of comms, Jess, I believe, will be doing the wheel. So whenever that happens, keep an eye on that. But yeah, I think that is all the sponsors and partners thanked. But I would like to take a special time to thank the guy that helps us out with the Taz every week here, Tebow. It's been an absolutely amazing tool for the commentators here in One Hub Racing to use, so we can see exactly if tyres are about to explode, because we can see the damage of everything, and we can see how bad wing damage is, and we can just see all the things you could ever want, and we can see the order of everything. But it's quite an amazing tool. So thank you, Tebow, for all your hard work over the last few seasons with this, and I'm sure it's going to be quite a thing in the future seasons. But I think I've thanked all the relevant people enough, and yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. And again, Permutation said Netsky finishing 4th. Sly needs to win the race with fastest lap to win the title, otherwise Netsky's the champion. But just keep an eye on everything. But rest assured, I have called the right champion at some point tonight. It's either Netsky or Sly Guy. But thank you everyone for watching tonight, and that is indeed if you still are. But thank you for everyone that's been in over the season. I will end the stream now. Have yourselves a wonderful off season, and we will see you, well, next year. I think it's too early for the word, but I hope you have a very awesome festive period when it finally rolls up next month. And thank you everyone, good night, take care, and see you soon here at One Hub Racing.